own space, justice is a long way away.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Space Game Junkie Podcast. I am always your coming in hot. I am always your co-host Brian, and always co-host Spaz.
Always here, sometimes, intermittently.
Hopefully, mostly. Also joining us is your co-host Julie.
Hello from the great green north. Yes, our lawn is really that color.
It's rare. We've been having some green lawns out here thanks to all the rain, but it's not always the case. Also joining us is your co-host Thorsten.
Always raining.
I wish we could have some of that. And your co-host David.
I wish I had a more creative quote, so hello!
That's fine. I don't have anything. Jacob is... It's morning for some of us, but it's also evening for some of us. So Jacob is, I think, asleep. So he might join us, he might not. Hopefully he gets the rest he needs. It's not easy being a university student, so I don't envy that. So folks, we're going to do, every 4 to 6 weeks, we do a check-in, talk about what we're playing, talk about how we're doing. And this seemed to be a perfect place because we're going to have a 2-week break, coming up, because I'm going out of town Wednesday to Wednesday. So it's like terrible for the podcast. But great for me. Also a warning, I'm expecting a delivery and we are like right in the delivery window right now. So if the doorbell might ring at some point while I'm talking, FYI. We do this every 4 to 6 weeks, check in, see how we're doing, what we're playing. It's good for our mental health, and it's good to, it's a topic we don't have to think too hard about. And sometimes we're like, I don't know what we want to talk about. So these are good to be like, have a little break from trying to figure out what to talk about or who to get on as a guest. But
it mainly works out because of the vacation thing anyway.
Say again?
It mainly works out in this case because of the vacation.
Yeah. And if y'all are curious, I'm going to Kentucky for a week and a day because one of my best friends in the world is turning 50 and he wants to do a bourbon tour. I've never done a bourbon tour, but I'm a nervous traveler, and I've been losing sleep, staying up at night, thinking, what if this suitcase is too big? What if the other one is too small? Well, it hold all I need, but I need extra room to bring back bourbon. Just laying up at night with stupid what ifs that I probably don't need to be worrying about. And this is the first trip I've taken in over a decade by myself. So, because Nicole can't go. So, that's also an extra level of stress. Jelly? Luke? Wait, what kind of jelly are you talking about in Kentucky? Because we're going for bourbon, but I'm open to getting other things as like gifts and whatnot for the family. So, I've never been to Kentucky. Oh, God damn it, Luke. Never mind. Fuck you. Excuse my language. Never mind.
Into that one.
I did. I walked right into that. Never mind what he said, folks. Never mind what Luke says. Don't listen to Luke. Never listen to Luke. He's terrible. He's a bad influence. God damn it. So yeah, we're going to be off for 2 weeks. So this check-in works out. I've been talking about what we're playing. I'd already talked about how I'm doing. I've been bouncing between a few games lately. Mostly Grim Dawn, which is what's on the stream, because I got a little burnt out from Inquisitor, but I still wanted an ARPG. And I've bounced off Grim Dawn so many times because it's got so many classes, subclasses, class combinations that I've tried like 6 different combos of classes. And I think I finally found one that clicks. I finished the main campaign and now I'm in the expansion stuff, and it is just a terrific, like, I think if Inquisitor didn't exist, this would probably be my favorite ARPG. It's so good. It just has some quibbles for me. Like, you can eventually get so many quests that it's like easy to get like lost. And sometimes you'll be like, "Oh, I'm doing great. I'm doing great." Then you'll run into an enemy that like one shots you, and then you look at the map. It's like, I'm not going back there. There's no checkpoint or anything anywhere near there. I'm not going back there. What's the Reign of Terror mod, Karth? I've never heard of that one. I'm just playing vanilla, but I'm having a great time. I rolled a shaman class, which does a lot of lightning damage. Just having a terrific time with it, and it's got some kind of vine attack that fulfills like the same kind of need that Inquisitor has for like a pool of damage that enemies kind of get stuck in. It's Diablo 1 and 2 put into Grim Dawn. What? Reign of Terror mod. I gotta look this up now. Reign of Terror mod Grim Dawn. Anyway, so I've been playing a lot of Grim Dawn, but then my brother, my sister's wife's husband, so brother-in-law, I guess, has been recommending I play Guardians of the Galaxy. And I was a little wary because the last Marvel game I played, which was Avengers, was all right, but it wasn't like, light my world on fire. It was okay. Like, it had a decent story, but the gameplay was kind of But it had that's how I was introduced to Miss Marvel, for example, was that game. The writing was good, but the gameplay was not great. So I was like, I don't know. But it was on sale, and so I got it. And it's terrific, you guys. The Guardians of the Galaxy game. It is legitimately terrific. And they've got more accessibility and difficulty options that I've basically seen in any other game. Like, you could turn up how much damage your guns do to make the game easier. You can make it so quick time events are always won, for example. Like, just, you could really tweak it so the combat is not super challenging. It's still challenging because there's a lot of, there's a lot of gamepad stuff with that game. But yeah, Guardians and the story. I like the story and the acting more than the movies. The writing is fantastic. And I don't know about you guys, but with a lot of games, like I want to rush through, get to the gameplay stuff. Like, I don't care about listening to you guys talk. I want to game. I want to shoot some stuff. I want to kill some. But with this game, I had to force myself to slow down because the banter is some of the best I've ever heard in any video game. Like, you just want to slow down and soak in the banter because it's so good. Like, it's so well written and it's funny and touching. Like, that game, emotional, it gets to you emotionally. Like, it's so good. I'm about halfway through the game, I think about 8 hours in, and it is very enjoyable. And besides, and the third game I've basically been playing is Doom Infinite. Once Dad Time on the Discord clued us into that the other day. That's taken up most of my game time in the last week. Was Doom Infinite, which I streamed yesterday. Which, if you guys don't know, is a mod that turns Doom into a roguelike. It's so good. I can't get over how good it is. Like, I just can't get over. Yeah, Karth, I like Star-Lord in the game way more than the movie. And the nice thing is the game doesn't have any like Guardians of the Galaxy. The game doesn't have any romantic subplot between Star-Lord and Gamora, which is actually kind of refreshing because like I didn't buy that in the movies like at all. So
well, the game is also 100% less Chris Pratt, so
that helps. That helps. The game is a lot less Chris Pratt. The voice acting.
He is a terrible person, by the way.
Yeah,
he's a really terrible person.
If you're unaware, Chris Pratt is very problematic. But the voice acting, is on point. Like the guy who does Peter Quill is very different from Chris Pratt, but the others are kind of similar, which works. Like the guy who does Drax in the game is kind of similar to. What's his name? Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista. Yeah, kind of similar to that, but also has his own flair. Yeah, it's so funny, you guys. Oh, and some of the characters in the movies are so much better. Like Mantis is so much better in the game, and Cosmo, again, so much better in the game. So yeah, if you have, like, I was like I don't know about this going in because again, the Avengers was but it's really great. Great story, great writing, fun combat. You could also tweak it. That's it, David. You could also tweak it to make the combat very passable. It's not very so you can focus on the story and the writing. I got it for $12. I can't recommend it enough for $12. I probably, even for full price, I could recommend it because it's just such good writing. You don't find good writing in a lot of video games. So props to the people at, what was it, Eidos Montreal, I think, who made this game. So yeah, can't recommend Guardians of the Galaxy enough. And Doom Infinite, if you guys have Doom 2 lying around, just get Doom Infinite. It's astounding. It's absolutely astounding. I'm just shocked at how good this is. Probably, I've played a lot of Doom mods and WODs over the years because I don't know if you all know this, but the mod scene for Doom is an amazing thing. Like people are pounding out mods regularly. Also, there are random map generators you can get that just randomly make these amazing Doom maps. There's so like. Doom feels kind of like the free space too of first person shooters because it's also this amazing mod platform, and Doom Infinite, you guys, just 100% amazing. Oh my god, and it's not even done. They're calling it a demo. It's not even done, and already I've put like 8 hours into it, and I feel like I've barely scratched the surface. It also kind of forces you to be a better Doom player, like it forces you to get good, but it never feels unfair, which is which I keep using the word astounding, but like how they did that, I don't know, because it's amazing. Like I've died so many times, but I've never been like, oh, that was cheap. Never felt that way. Every time I've died, I'm like, yeah, I should have handled that better. I should have looked around that corner. I shouldn't have walked into this T junction and only looked left. Every time I've died, it's felt like it's on me, which is impressive. So yeah, Doom Infinite, you guys. All right. So enough of me jibber jabbering. Spaz, what do you want to talk about?
Well,
how are you doing, by the way? How are you doing?
Well, yeah, it's going. I'll just say that much. My copy of Dune Part 2 arrived last night, so I watched that.
Oh, a physical copy?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, good on you. Good on you.
Yeah, pre-ordered because I knew I couldn't wait for streaming, and I wasn't going to subscribe to the service just for that. So I figured, okay, well, physical copy is a better option. I have the first one on physical copy as well.
Yeah.
So I watched those back to back.
Nice.
Oh yeah, there are a few changes without going into spoilers. There are a few changes from the books, but I don't necessarily mind the changes that were made.
Okay.
They were pretty good, the changes, to be honest. It brought the original material into a modern age.
Yeah, I would also say that without getting into the details of the ending of Part 2, it reframes the message of the two films in a way that's different from the way the 1984 film did. Because
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, without getting into the details of it, if you know,
right.
is what I'm getting at.
And I very much liked it. I really liked it. Because of the change of message, yeah.
Yes, yeah. That's there are reasons why it is as well regarded as it is.
And there's going to be a third part, right? There's like one more part coming, right?
It's supposed to be Dune Messiah, which is a shorter book, doesn't have as much story as the first one, but it is very relevant. It's supposed to be the last film he's going to direct, or at least that's what he plans to direct. However, there is a series that is coming to Max, which is Dune Prophet was just recently announced.
Wow, they're really leaning into all this Dune content, huh? Like, it's kind of funny because there was like nothing for a long time. Like, what was the last thing? That Children of Dune miniseries from like the early aughts? Wasn't that the last thing?
Yeah.
Which I heard was pretty good from other Dune fans.
I've seen it, and it was pretty good. The one thing it was really lacking in was budget.
Well, it was a sci-fi production.
Yeah.
So
yeah. With Dune Prophet, it's actually set much earlier than the events of the books, and you could call it a prequel, not necessarily, but it's setting up some of the stuff that you'll see in the more recent films. And in fact, it's keeping a lot of the same style, costuming and wise. That is very clear that they're really leaning into the design of that universe that they've used for the movies.
okay.
Aside from that, I spent most of the morning on a anime movie kick with featuring movies from Mamoru Hosoda and Makoto Shinkai. So that's stuff like Your Name, Weathering with You, and more recently Suzume. Those three are his last three films of Shinkai. And I was also rewatching Your Name. Oh, no, sorry, not Your Name. Excuse me. Summer Wars, which we did actually watch on the Discord server a while back. I think you might remember that, Brian.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I do remember that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Really good film. So I was watching that, and then another one, the other more recent film from Mamoru Hosoda, Bell, which is really, really beautiful. It even has some of the same aesthetics of a virtual world that the characters are sort of living new lives in, but they're still tied to the real world. So it's not like they basically have these virtual avatars that are sort of detached from their real world selves, and you could sort of reinvent yourself in this virtual world that's kind of like a mix of Facebook and Second Life, but less problematic mostly. Because
that's good.
yeah. It's a really interesting story. So that was my morning.
And what are you playing lately?
Oh, playing. I picked up 9-Bit Armies, the sequel to the 8-Bit Armies games, and I played a bit of that last night. I've also been playing Mount Blade Bannerlord, continuing a campaign in which I am painting the map. With blood, of course, because, well, how else are you going to paint it?
Yeah, I know you're big into that game. It looks too much for me.
I'm only 636 hours into it. Damn. Yeah.
Oh,
Is that vanilla, or do you have any mods? Or
I'm not playing with mods. No, I'm actually doing a vanilla campaign.
That's impressive.
I could use mods, but I'd rather not at this point. I just want to do a vanilla campaign, and I've technically won because I completed the main story, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But it's after that you're open ended, and you can continue to paint the map if you want to.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I every time you mention that game, I'm like, oh, it looks kind of interesting. Then I see like how you actually play it. I'm like, I don't think I should.
Well, you can take the difficulty down, and as long as you micromanage a little bit, you're fine. And when I say micromanage, when you get into the battles, you sort of, if you're playing it the stupid way, I should say, then you're just going to go into the battle with overwhelming numbers and tell your people to charge. This is a bad idea. It will get your people killed and it will cause a lot of attrition damage that you can really avoid.
Oh.
The smart way is, as both Torsten and I know, you really want to use as many options to keep your archers on their flanks as possible, so that you're cutting them down through attrition as they approach you and not engaging you in melee. And then when they charge, that's when you charge your cavalry into their rear line, which causes so much morale damage that a few charges like that can actually break their force, cause them to run away, and then you tell your forces to charge and kill off the survivors. Because, well,
of course
that's fewer forces you have to deal with. Yes, exactly.
And it's often the way that you said they don't even have a chance to run away anywhere.
Yeah, true.
That's simply the best tactic for the game.
The top review on Steam has over 1,000 hours in the game.
Oh yeah,
it's a funny review too.
Yeah, and as I said, I've got 636 hours, but that's just in Bannerlord. That's not including the previous games.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a funny review. I posted a link to it. Yeah, maybe I'll keep an eye on this one because it looks fascinating. It looks absolutely fascinating. But if you could turn the difficulty down, that might be good for me. Because that's what I need. That's what I need. That's what I need in these games. Just turn the difficulty down.
Well, the main thing you can do is to start as a mercenary. So you're not committed to one faction. You're not going to gain any fiefs by doing this, but by fighting battles for a faction, you build up your little force, and you'll get paid for it. So the more battles you get into fighting for a faction without actually committing to them, you will get paid by winning battles.
Oh, okay.
And that helps build up your clan. And then eventually you can devote yourself to one of the factions. And in doing so, you can get granted fiefs, which means you get castle management. And it's really just a simple setting up of what you want your castle or your town, if you have one, to build. And if you work as a mercenary, you get paid a lot of money by getting into battles. You could try being a trader, but it's really a bad idea because once the wars start up, caravans get raided. And you can own workshops, but they are not really meant to be that much of income. They're meant to be, okay, a little bit of supplemental income here and there, a few hundred gold. The real money is in fighting, looting, and then selling the loot. And Jose, I can tell you that with this game, with Bannerlord specifically, you don't have the companions that hate each other. What you end up having is a morale system that's based more on the traits of the characters. So if they have, say, a cruel trait, and you attack a town, you take it, but you don't loot the place going with a full pillaging, then the cruel ones aren't going to like that much. But you can convince them to not be so cruel.
So I've got to say, yeah, go ahead.
Just mentioning that there are merciful characters as well, and if you decide to pillage, they're not going to like that either. So it's better to pay the influence hit and keep the merciful ones merciful, because when you actually want to be merciful, it's a good idea. You don't make as many enemies that way.
I've got to add. I actually like the thing that some of the characters hated each other in Warband and the original Mountain Blade, and I miss it a bit. I really miss it a bit.
There's a reason why they don't have it in Bannerlord, and it's because there are many more nobles to be found. They are generated. In Warband, they are unique.
Oh.
And so they're set up with personalities that hate specific characters. But in Bannerlord, they are generated, and those traits are generated. So they hate maybe specific archetypes of characters, but they won't necessarily quibble if you put them into the same party.
Okay.
In Warband, you really had to manage that. You had to manage it because if you put two people who hated each other in the same party, they'd eventually desert or yeah.
I mean, it was a bit like Jagged Alliance.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, one time, that was with a mod, I even guess it was with a Flores mod. Emira, one of the early female characters, left my party, and I had pretty much fitted her out with very good armor and very good weapons, and she returned to my party with as a level 44 character, which you could easily send her into battle alone.
Oh yeah.
She killed everything on the battlefield.
Yeah, that's one thing with this series of games is that if you have a small party and you know what you're doing, you can effectively steamroll forces that are several times your size if you know how to manipulate things a little bit. There's a little exploit where you go in with, say, a few hundred archers, and you're facing a force of 600 or 700, something like that. As they're charging towards you, you just keep your archers in place on a hill, and you let them fire down. And then before your enemies approach you and get into melee range, you retreat. And then you go back to the world map, and then you fight again. Their numbers are reduced, yours are not. And you can keep doing this if you'd like. You can totally cheese. Yeah, you can totally cheese the battle that way.
Okay, that's kind of funny. All right, that's kind of funny. All right. Is there anything else, or should we move on?
There's one other game that I've been playing a little bit of, which is Abiotic Factor.
Abiotic Factor?
Yeah, it is a game that I'd after I picked it up and played a little bit of it, I'd said this is a game that is absolutely not for you. Yeah, there is. David just linked it. This is kind of like Half-Life meets Stargate. If you're stuck in the facility.
Oh yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's survival horror. It is co-op. But it is absolutely not for you, Brian.
No way. Yeah, no. I recognize this now. Like, yeah, no, thank you.
It's survival crafting and horror. The three things you could hate. There are three things that you could probably hate less than that.
If you added sports somehow, I'd probably hate it a little bit more.
But instead of being out in the forest or something, you're in the labs of Black Mesa or something like that.
It's like a Black Mesa SCP kind of deal. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and as I said, it is co-op. So, David, if you pick it up, let me know.
Does it have J.K. Simmons? Does it have J.K. Simmons?
Unfortunately, not.
Sigh. Okay, fine.
It's made by a New Zealand team, which is interesting.
Yeah, you don't hear a lot of New Zealand game devs. That's awesome.
And there's a day-night cycle. When night hits, the power in the facility is shut off. So, yeah, horror, and other things happen. Like specific enemies come out at night.
Kind of like Dying Light a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, it's definitely more dangerous at night. And there are other threats too. But again, just like with a lot of other games, you can tone down a lot of the aspects. Like removing hunger and thirst.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to, but you can do that on a server basis. So when you play, you are setting up a server that it's sort of like with Valheim, the way that it's played. You are setting up what those parameters are at the very beginning of it, and then if other people join you, then they'll be playing by those server settings.
Right. Can you set it to just play by yourself if you want to?
Absolutely, you can.
Okay.
You can play totally single player. Although it's one of those games that it would be more fun in co-op for sure.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So while they're still talking about the game there, Spaz, I see something about the perk setup here on the store page. Like, can you get some kind of passive upgrades for a character when you spawn in?
You start as you choose the class you're going to start as. So you might have a specialty in stealth or crafting or cooking or growing food. Because again, survival horror, one of the things that you have to keep in mind is, well, you do have to eat. So all of these different specialties give you a little bit of a bonus when you create the character, and then those characters are saved server side. So if it's again like Valheim.
That's good.
If you continue on that server, you pick it up from where you left off. That character will still be where it was when you left off.
That's pretty
so
cool.
There is a lot there. There's some progression. You can also set it up with the server setting. If when you die, you lose all of your inventory or whether it takes damage. If you have the default on, then you lose everything in your inventory, but everything that's on your hotbar stays. And then you have to go loot your corpse. Or you can set that so you just keep everything. And you just respawn. So you can be as forbidding about it as you'd like, or not as punishing, because death still hurts. And you can absolutely in co-op, in co-op you can go into different classes and specialize as you need to. Have someone stay back at base, for example, or and deal with the building and growing of food, or someone who goes out and does stealth stuff. They work better alone because they're not as easily spotted. That kind of deal.
Nice. That sounds like a good mix of stuff, man.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, as I said, let me know if you get it, David.
All right, Julie, how are you doing?
Well, since you asked how I'm doing, I learned a valuable lesson this week, and that is if you don't manage your PTSD well, which is sometimes for those who have PTSD can understand it's like a monster trying to claw its way back to the surface sometimes, you can bring down people around you. And also, I will say, my editor must have gotten tired of waiting because she gave me a deadline this last week. And I posted something that she posted on Facebook where it says, before turning it into the editor, after turning it into the editor. And I've worked with her before, and I know how merciless she can be. Other than that, we have this little call a couple of times a week. A lot of people from the Space Game Junkie, Luke, Torsten, David, myself, a few other people when they join in. And we were talking about movies based on games and how some of them are just, a lot of them are absolutely horrendous. But they had a series this recently out on Fallout, and It was great. I was really pleasantly surprised. And of course, this sparked a big influx of people playing, going back to Fallout, some new players, a lot of repeat players like myself. Uh, but this last week, one of my favorite curators, whom I'm sure everybody know I'm talking about, played a game called V Rising. And while he didn't seem to like it a lot, he said, if it's for you, what it turns out it is, because a lot of games that are like building games or of that nature, it's a lot of times it's just doing it for the sake of doing it. And I've gotten invitations from from people I've known from years past that said, "Oh, come play Minecraft," and it's like, well, okay, what do I do now? I built the Uber Minecraft building of Uberness. Uh, but there's actually a reason behind everything, and I have really come to enjoy it.
Have you played
And
that Robin Hood game recently? Because
no,
it has a similar feel to that Robin Hood game that came out recently. That was
I
also
didn't know
pretty.
there was a Robin Hood game.
Yeah, also similar kind of crafting and building. You're building up Sherwood Forest. Similar. It has a similar vibe to me to V Rising. That there's a good reason for collecting the stuff you collect. It's not just, oh, I need 20 bushes.
Do I get to either play Maid Marian or the Sheriff of Nottingham?
No, you
gotta play Robin Hood.
You gotta play Robin Hood. I'm sorry about that, but I really did like the. Is another game where I didn't mind the building and the crafting so much. So I think I think games like these are doing a better job of melding in the combat along with the crafting and survival stuff to make it feel a little more meaningful, like you were saying. So yeah, V Rising was pretty good.
Well, I have found, and I know one of the sticking points for you was the fact that it had degradation of the weapons and armor. And I understand how upsetting that can be, because when I first started to play some of the Zelda games on Switch, I said, it's a stick.
Yeah.
How fast can it, and it's like, okay, I understand when I put a boulder on the end of a stick, but it's a stick, and but they made it incredibly easy to repair things. So it has not, granted, I have it set on relaxed playing because the bosses end up kicking my butt around the block a lot. I appreciate there aren't levels. There are only levels of armor. But I have found myself dying to the sun quite a bit because it's easy to get caught not in the shade. So I crank that daylight setting all the way down, really short days. And it's actually been a lot of fun, and trying to struggle through the next draft so I make sure I don't irritate the editor any more than I already have.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad to hear you're enjoying V Rising. Yeah, it. I was honestly hoping for something a little more ARPG-ish, but it's less that, which is fine, But I think for what it is, it does a pretty good job. Some people on YouTube were saying it was released incomplete, but I don't know. It felt pretty complete to me.
Well, I've had a lot of my people I know online. It's not like, okay, there's levels of friends and there's refrigerator friends, but a lot of someone I know said a refrigerator friend is someone you can go in their refrigerator and they won't balk at it. But a lot of my friends will say, yeah, I say, I didn't notice anything wrong with this game. He said, that's because you waited a year for it to come out in full release and everything was fixed. So, when I don't find anything wrong, that's because I usually wait for full release.
Makes sense. All right. Thorsten, how are you doing?
Well, I'm still struggling with my mental health, and I've got to say a big thank you to the whole server, because you are the people that are keeping me going right now. Yeah, I've got to say it.
No, that's great.
Otherwise, I've got full internet again. Gladly.
Yay!
Great.
Great.
It was really annoying to position my phone in a way that I could that it connect to another cell tower. That was really annoying. And every time I moved it, I lost connection. But as I said, gladly it's finally repaired. Gaming wise, okay, I played a lot of Bannerlord 2, and I can only repeat what Bass said. I really love this game, and it has a lot of stuff in it that I missed at Bannerlord, in Warband and the original Mountain Blade, and it's simply good. Otherwise, I've played still a lot of Pioneer Space Sim, which is increasingly becoming my favorite space simulation currently. Okay, it's pretty simulation-like, and everyone who knows the original Elite 2 Frontier, it's pretty much a remake of this game.
And it's free, y'all. If you haven't played it, it's completely free.
And it's a freeware game, right? Then I've played again a lot of Scavenger SV4. I thought I made a real record 2 days ago, and then I went to the Scavenger SV4 Discord and learned no, not even remotely.
Oh no!
And not even remotely. I was pretty much shocked when I did see that. But that gives me an invention to continue to play the game. And another one I've started a few days ago is a game that I own since it was in early access, and it left it a few months ago, and that is Beyond Contact. I've linked it in the server, in the chat, and that's a pretty interesting game too. It has a lot of stuff going on. Surprisingly, the early version I've played when it just got into early access wasn't as complete as it is right now, and it's pretty fun. It's a pretty fun game in my opinion.
Yeah,
I'd agree.
As David said in the chat, it's a lot like V Rising.
Yeah, I've got about 3 hours in it myself.
Ah, okay.
Oh, nice.
It's a nice game.
Yeah.
So that's it from me, basically.
Awesome. All right. Well, David, you want to wrap us up? How you doing?
Yeah, I got. Well, I'm still trying to find my way and find my place in the world, looking for jobs and stuff. So that's interesting. And tomorrow I'll have to replace what is that called? I guess renew my identification passport. Yeah, passport. I'm going to renew my passport tomorrow. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow.
Well, hopefully it's easier than it is here in the States, because anything regarding a passport here in the States is a pain in the behind.
Yeah, I had to wait for an open slot for about 3 weeks until I could get one again. Renew my passport. So that has been fun to wait for this. And the reason why I really need to do that is that here in Sweden we have banking software to authorize ourselves, so we can identify via phone calls, yada yada yada. It's used for a lot of stuff when you have to do stuff with the banks, and well, sometimes even buy stuff. You need to use that program. And I bought a new phone, so I was thinking, oh yeah, I can move over my old account to that one, right? No. You need to have a passport. You need to have the identifier numbers and stuff. So the first time I was my first attempt to renew that thing, I was like, okay, maybe I can do it with a driver's license instead. Let's call them. Nope, you need a passport. Ah, dang it. Okay, so I can't use my driver's license. Let's take a look. Where's my passport? Oh no, I don't know where it is. Oh no, I know where it is, but I don't know where the key is to the freaking safe. Ah, god damn it. I'll get back to you. So the second attempt, okay, I have a passport. Let's get them on the phone. Yes, you know, you can do all of this through the homepage. Yeah, I know, but I want to have someone to talk to, flesh and blood, human being. Thank you. Okay, so you do that, and then press that. Okay, and then you scan these numbers with your camera on your phone. Okay, error. It has expired. What?
Oh my! Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look on the passport. 0150 or whatever 0124. So wait. Oh, so it did expire back in January. Okay, yeah, I need to fix a new passport. Whoops, daisy. So it has been an adventure just to buy a new phone. So yeah, fantastic.
Man.
Exactly the same thing happened a few years ago to me too.
Oh no.
So it's so annoying.
Oh yeah, very, very, very annoying.
Oh,
so
sorry, man.
in the meantime, I'm trying to once again retake my courses I talked about before, Brian. And
Right.
guess what? That next time when I can reapply for one of those tests is tomorrow when I'm at the police station fixing my freaking passport.
Oh no.
So I had to get back to that next week. So yeah, timer reset. God damn it.
What the hell?
So yeah, it has been a mess for me. Trying to juggle everything around here while the employment agency is hunting me and all this stuff. So yeah, fun times. I tried to get it sold, but it has been a struggle. That's for sure.
Sorry, man. Just keep plugging away, I guess. That's all I mean, persistence does pay
It
off.
would be nice just to sit down and just give away whole days, but no, I can't do that. I need to fix my stuff together, so I can't be passive. I need to do something about this, and yeah, baby steps, I suppose, because I really need to get that passport to get anything going.
Yeah.
Due to this connected counter that I live in, so yeah, it's fantastic. Computers, everyone, and the connected society we live in today. Fantastic, isn't it?
Love it.
Oh, wait. Well, we were talking about gaming as well here. Well, I did finish off Soma there. We're talking about our Disasters podcast. And I'm just going to provide a link there. I mean, I have already talked about the game, so let me get a link here for it. So I finished the game on that safe mode difficulty setting that they added into the game. Apparently, they added that difficulty setting way back before. Well, they did add it just probably a few months after release, actually. So I completely missed that at the time. So I'm happy to report that you can get the achievements by playing it in safe mode. So yeah, now you just will have tons of existential dread instead. So thank you, Soma. So lovely little game from Sweden, I suppose.
Oh, it's a Swedish game? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. Some very depressed Swedes apparently made this game. So yeah, huzzah. So that is one game I have very quickly finished off there, and it is an interesting story. And I have not been playing as much Warframe as I have done in the last 3 months or so. I guess I'm starting to burn out again, so I'm starting to feel those feelings come back. Like you were saying there, Brian, when you play some game and it feels like this feels like work. Why am I doing this? So I have never been a fan of season stuff. So they added some kind of seasonal content into Warframe years back called Nightwave. And if you don't finish it, all those rewards are gone or null and void.
What?
And I was like, yeah. So then you had to restart from the very beginning. So they renew it every so often, like every 3 months or so. And I was like, oh, I'm almost at the finish line. I have this reward I want to reach. There's 7 days left. Yeah, I'm not going to make it. So, yeah, okay, screw it. Long story short, there is an item called the Umbra Forma. Oh, yeah, I know, Jose. I know. Which you can plug into a Warframe or weapon to make it better. And those are extremely rare. So to see me being there almost at the finish line, I'm like, yeah, I'm not able to get that in time. I'm just gonna give up at this point. It is a defeating feeling, I gotta say. I don't like that feeling at all. Like the game is waving around this little toy in front of my eyes, like, yeah, you can get this. Just if you had a little bit more time. Yeah, because that's exactly what I have all day.
Well, it sounds like you're rushing toward burnout with Warframe once again. Kind of hope I kind of hope you hit it soon because it sounds like it doesn't sound fun to me. It doesn't sound like you're having a good time.
Yeah, and another game I've been playing every so often is something that I have a little bit of mixed feelings since I did play it on my old computer, but I never finished the game, and it did release a DLC now during the spring. I don't remember when, and that being Mecha Knights. I think you played this one, Brian, yourself.
I think I've touched it. Yeah, I have it, and I think I played it for like 3 seconds. I'm like, this is a bit much, but I kept it because I like the idea of it. But I think it was a bit like just a little overwhelming for me. Like I think
it has a lot of numbers and gears moving around when you build your mech. And well, I'm a fan of Metal Gear as well, but right. I'm a very big fan of Armored Core, where you can mix and match parts to create your own war machine and stuff. So it is fun in a sense, but it is more like a reskinned EDF, if anything, because the way you gain items is just like EDF. Later missions give you better weapons and equipment, so yeah, if you like EDF, you might want to check out Mecha Knights. But it is a little bit janky, I would say. It feels like the game is trying to hold you back or something like that. It's hard to explain. It's like I have a hard time getting into the groove or something. I don't know. But I'm 10 hours in so far, so that
ain't bad.
Somewhat fun.
You sound like you're enjoying it at least enough to get 10 hours in.
Yeah, exactly. And lately, I've been binging through Death Stranding again. Well, the director's cut. So right. I was always a fan of the original Death Stranding. So, but I haven't haven't installed the director's cut until now. For reasons, it takes a lot of space on my SSD for starters. So
it's a huge game. Yeah,
it's a ginormous game.
Yeah.
And I really like the positive reinforcement you get from doing the stuff you do in Death Stranding. I mean, it's a completely shit world you try to survive in, but it's like I need more of this. Like, yeah, you did a good job. Yeah, good job, David, or something like that. When you do something, when someone have
I will admit, I really did. I mean, what put me off the game is once you got attacked by those hands in the ground, they start pulling you down. That was like, I can't handle this. Yeah, I can't handle this. But for a while, I was like, you drop off a thing to an outpost, and they're like, "Oh, thanks so much, man!" Like they're so happy to see you, and they really appreciate it. That was really nice.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I would say that there was some critique of the game, well, during its original release there, that sometimes the BTs are just in the way, basically. But sometimes you just want to deliver packages, damn it.
Yeah, if you could turn I'd play a game like that if you could turn that horror, like creepy ghost stuff off and just run around delivering packages. Kind of like Euro Truck Sim, but with a backpack. Yeah, give me that.
Yeah, because that experience, it's kind of neat, where you have to balance your backpack and all this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
there's weight calculation.
Yeah, that was nifty, and you really had to make sure you're walking over the terrain properly and everything. That was I enjoyed that part. And then it's like, oh, here's some horror stuff. Yeah, I'm done. No thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, turning that completely off would completely wreck the
I know,
experience.
I know, but I want a game like that, like kind of. I'm sure they could make an a Euro Truck Sim game like that. You know what I mean? Where the challenge is in the getting there. You know, that'd be fun. But
the environment itself is your obstacle, not the enemies.
Yeah, I had really fun doing it with the environment, and these ghosts come around. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
One thing I need to add real quick on Mecha Knights before you go on, David, is that it's made by a single dev.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah, very impressive.
Very, very nice work, whoever you are, because it's a very cool game. I guess I want more. So,
yeah, totally
keep at it. So that's some of the games I've been playing. There has been another one I've been playing that I've been actually spending quite a time with since I got on this new computer, since it was not physically possible to play that game. And this game is not on Steam, so I'm not going to post a link to this. And that's Space Villager.
You can post a link to it. It doesn't have to be on...
No.
Okay.
What?
It's he said Space Villager. You know the one we're talking about.
Do I?
Oh, yeah.
The bingo card.
Oh!
The one for the bingo card.
Right.
Yeah, the bingo
Star
card. Here's
Citizen.
your free spot, everyone.
Okay, so you've been playing Star Citizen. What do you think?
Yes. I have some stuff to say. Of course, we're almost 1 hour into the
It's
show,
fine.
so I don't know how much time I have.
No, it's fine. We can go longer.
So, for starters, since last Friday, a new update came to the game, which have set some people on fire. So they're very angry and stuff. And first of all, what is this thing? I'm not going to call it a game. What is this thing? $100 million or whatever. It's a lot of money. Trademark, whatever.
The English word is boondoggle.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Boondoggle.
So I have been playing with a group of Swedes and hanging around with them to try to learn more about the game, taking part in some PvP matches and all this stuff as well. So I see how some organizations fight each other and all this stuff doing on territory that we can't even claim because there's no mechanics for that. But people try to, the social construct or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, let's get to 323. Why it's so much buzz about that in the Star Citizen community. So. You have experience with the older Elite games. You know what jousting is, right?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Of
course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So with an old flight model in Star Citizen, you had the option to go really fast, take a couple of shots, and then boost away at 1,000 meters per second, and no one will touch you. No one will threaten your existence or something if you were flying a very small fighter. So small fighters were incredibly dangerous against ridiculously large ships. So some people were completely... I mean, these names are not telling you anything. So I tried to take some references instead. I'm going to go with Star Wars. You know the Millennium Falcon. It's a larger freighter. And it's not a freighter ship, capital ship, but it's a big ship. You know how large the Millennium Falcon is.
Yeah.
Then take an A-wing, and then have the A-wing zoom past this larger freighter, and then boosting away. And slow but surely it will down this larger ship's health and then get destroyed. So yay, the little ship won. You're the Luke Skywalker of this story or whatever. So what they did was that they removed that option that you can't go how fast the as fast as possible as you thought you could before.
What?
So now we had to switch between standard control maneuvers or the nav mode. So
What?
basically, they have introduced something similar to Super Cruise and normal flight in Elite Dangerous.
Oh no.
So
They took away the only good thing from Star Citizen. It's unbelievable.
yes, so either you fight or you fly. So if you're gonna fight this Millennium Falcon with your little A-wing, you will fly almost as slow as that larger ship then. And that larger ship will probably have a lot of gunners ready pointing at you, and you won't be able to make those zoom and boom maneuvers anymore. So some sweaty PvP masterminds are very, very, very angry because they want to be very skilled and show how good they are to single-handedly handle 4 fighters at once and stuff.
Shocking.
What?
I said shocking.
Yeah. So one of the Swedes that I am with, he's one of the best PvPers in Star Citizen's, Swedish community right now. And I tried to ask him, like, okay, so why the negative sentiment? What is going on, really? Can you try to explain for me? Because I'm not a fighter pilot. I just, my brain melts when I see you guys fly around like freaking maniacs. So basically what they wanted to do was to reduce that jousting and replace it with World War II dogfighting. So instead of being a rotating turret in space, if you were going to be able to face tank everything, have DPS rates, you'll actually have to maneuver and stuff. So all ships have gotten their own archetypes that they have to take into account, how they fly, how they behave and stuff, so that a light fighter will act a lot different from a heavy fighter and a interceptor. So a light fighter is very maneuverable, and an interceptor is very fast instead. There's right now only one interceptor though, so some people are saying, "Oh, that's the meta ship," and trust me, when I look at that ship, I'm just shaking my head like, that ship is made out of tissue paper. When you make one pass, it's gonna blow apart at the seams. How can you say it's a meta ship? I mean, I'm no PvPer, so I don't know anything, but holy crap, you're crazy if you say that ship is a meta ship. While you have your little Buzzy Mosquito trying to take down the friggin' Goliath or whatever. So, yeah. It has been an interesting journey to see what's going on in that concept of a thing. I was going to show Jolie and Luke some gameplay before the stream here, but I managed to get myself in space jail instead in Star Citizen.
Wait,
because there's space jail. Oh yeah, let me tell you all about it. If you do bad things, you can get a crime set, and then if a player kills you and have so-called call terms, so they are illegal or under the law of citizen or whatever, you can send this criminal to jail. You can also send a player to jail other ways as well. But either way, I was going to do one of those so-called bunker missions, because this is not just a space game anymore, or a space thing. I'm still unsure if I can call it a space game. It is also a race game. It's also a first-person shooter. It's also a crafting game. It's also a bedsheet simulator. It's also a hunting game, because now there's animals to hunt and loot in this game. There's actual animal poaching in the game right now. So.
I mean, when we signed up, we just wanted another freelancer. That's basically what we wanted. And they just keep... I think if they had stuck with that, we would have, the game would be out. And then you sell those things as expansions, yeah, or whatever. But
But yeah, back to the bunker. So I was planning to, I'm gonna fly to this bunker here and just try it real quick, and then do another bunker for Luke and Jolie here, so they can see that in action, because I want to show how insane this game is. But instead, I go down into the bunker and realize with this new heads-up display that they introduced with 3.23. Which was dearly needed, because the old UI was completely useless. I think I'm bleeding from my brain when I think about how awful the old UI was. So I go down into the little bunker, and then I see that the friendly NPCs in there actually have friendly markers. Oh my god. Imagine being able to actually see who's friendly or not. Oh, that's amazing. It took just 12 years to get here. I guess sooner or later, or whatever. So I take down a couple of hostiles there in the bunker, and then like, oh, okay, I guess the other ones are on the floor upstairs instead. So I go upstairs, and then suddenly, almost like the scene from Hot Shots 2, where Charlie Sheen is being shot at, I have a terrorist standing right next to me trying to shoot me down, and he's doing a terrible job at it because the AI is not great. So, and I see that when I turn around towards him, and he has a friendly mark on him. That's weird, but he's shooting at me, and I'm standing like 3 seconds trying to process this, and you die pretty quickly in first-person combat because there's no energy shells and stuff. So I take him down, except right beside him, or right behind him, was a friendly NPC, which I completely headshotted and got a crime stat from.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Excuse my language, but Jesus. Oh, come on.
Because the AI has no self-preservation whatsoever. Oh my god. So so long story short, I end up in jail, and in jail you can reduce your sentence by doing manual labor in the mine. By mining.
Wait a minute. Really? I think I remember this, but I didn't know they actually did it.
Oh yeah. There is space mining in the space prison, so you can reduce your sentence. And I have also completely avoided talking about all the bugs on this trip over here. So when I get to the prison, I'm immediately bugged. Well, my character's bugged, so I don't have my mining tool, so I can't really reduce my sentence. So it's either waiting 1 hour or steal a mining tool from someone. So you can do a silent takedown on an NPC prisoner and steal his mining tool, which gave me another 30 minutes on my sentence. So I had even more to work off of.
Can I just say at this point, back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, I was a game master for an Ultima Online server. And yes, there was a way to get put in jail if you were a really did bad things to other players. But what in the God's name kind of game has a game where you actually put a player in jail and punishes the player for it, and you have to do hard labor to get time off your sentence?
This one, apparently.
Yeah, you got one here.
Elite Dangerous.
Wait,
oh
what?
Yeah, there is the prison.
Is there
prison facilities?
Is there a jail in Elite Dangerous?
Yes.
What?
I don't know. I just had to express my disgust at this, that they would put this in the game. That's all.
Well, I mean, they can't actually finish the game, Julie. I'm talking about Star Citizen, so they have to keep adding things to it. You know, they have to keep milking those whales, basically.
Speaking of, tomorrow will be the freaking Invictus event. Oh my god!
Which is what? What's that?
So twice a year there are digital conferences, conventions you can go to in Star Citizen. One is here in May, which is called Invictus, which will be, we will praise our fictional military, the UEE Navy. Go buy military ships for real money. Yay, limited, yada yada. So they will show off new PNGs and probably a few new renders or something like that. So whale hunting season begins tomorrow. And then later during the year, like late autumn, there's the IAE, which is their Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, where you can look at more ships, and every ship that has been all ships that have been available in Star Citizen are then at that time available to buy for those who really want to. My god, what is this thing?
It spent real money.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Whale hunting season begins tomorrow for Chris Roberts.
Can I just have I misread something, or aren't there parts of Europe where selling something as just a picture and representing it as an in-game asset is actually illegal? Wasn't there a lawsuit like that?
Yes, there was a lawsuit, but it has.
So what do you do? Just ignore it?
As I said, nothing has come out of it yet.
Yeah, so I've been playing Space Villager quite a bit, and I have some thoughts, let's just say. Once again, my old computer couldn't handle playing this thing at all. So once I had this computer, my cousin's friend was like, "Oh, aren't you gonna try out the Space Villager now that they have a functioning computer that can play it?" Wait, what? Are you suggesting me to try it? Yeah, why not? Fine. So I installed the game and
Why not?
everything.
Why not indeed?
See what the heck those PNGs really are. So yeah, here we are.
I wanted to congratulate you on being brave enough on the Space Game Junkie podcast to talk about the game that you actually enjoy and are playing. And I will say that, no, listen, I know, and I won't tell you who it is. I know somebody who's in the fairly upper echelons of video game development, and he always used to blast this just like we do here. And now he talks about it on his YouTube channel. So, things change. And but I understand what Brian says. Why would you want to finish a game where you've got $750 million with no fiduciary oversight?
Yeah, I mean, once they say it's finished, it's like they can't pull in that money anymore. So they'll never finish it. Like, where's Squadron 42, for example? Where's the face tracking? Where's the
sunk cost fallacy? The game,
basically.
Yep.
Yeah. I want to think that it didn't start off as a Ponzi scheme, but it's since become a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, we've said that before on this podcast.
Yeah,
it didn't start off that way, but it's grown into that and taken on a life of its own.
Yeah, which is depressing. And once Elite Dangerous folds within the next year or two.
Speaking of that game, can you imagine they are starting to sell freaking functional ships for real money in Elite Dangerous?
I know.
Of all the things that could take inspiration from Star Citizen, if anything, why that? Why?
Luke says serving jail time. Man. Yeah,
I think we should just call it sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah.
From now on.
Yeah, let's just call it
sunk cost fallacy citizen.
Yeah, sunk cost. I like that. So, anyway, so folks, that should. Unless David, do you have anything else to add, or should we wrap it up?
I think that's pretty good.
All right, that seems like a good place. So, friends, we're off for 2 weeks again, because I'm going out of town. So we'll be back on, I think, June 5th. I think is the date. So yeah, starting next Wednesday, there's not going to be any streams for the remainder of the month. So yeah, I hope you all have a great couple of weeks. We will miss you guys, obviously, but vacations are a good thing. They help with burnout, and I clearly am feeling some burnout. So it's a good thing. So have a wonderful couple weeks. Be safe, be well, take care of each other. Please get vaccinated if you haven't already, because we're still in a pandemic. Wear your masks. I'm going to be taking so many masks with me on this trip. I'm taking like a whole box of masks. It's just all the masks. Get your shots. Thank you as always to our patrons who help to pay for things like Restream. And remember, always wear your helmet. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.